Back for our first look of the season at Fenway Park. Field looks in great shape. Be talking more about that actually later on, because part of the field is new this year here at Fenway. But it will be filled to capacity as always for the start of the 1998 home season here at Fenway Park. Should be an interesting pitching matchup today. Brian Rose making his second start of the season, just his third major league start. And the Seattle Mariners will be looking to Randy Johnson, who has been roughed up in his first two starts of the season, looking to try and turn that around. As the Red Sox take the field, today's starting lineups are brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. For the visiting Seattle Mariners, Joey Cora leading off and playing second base. Alex Rodriguez, the shortstop, bats second. Junior Griffey playing center and batting in the customary number 3 spot. Edgar Martinez is off to a slow start this year for Seattle. The DH batting fourth. David Segui, who's off to a great start, hitting fifth, playing first base. Likewise, Glenn Allen Hill off to a fine start. The left fielder batting sixth. The catcher is Dan Wilson batting seventh. Russ Davis plays third for the Mariners, batting eighth. And Robert Perez, recently over from the Blue Jays, takes right field, replacing Jay Buhner, who has a bit of a knee problem. He's missed several games this week. So Perez in the number 9 spot and playing right field for the Mariners today. And they will hit against the 22-year-old New England native rookie Brian Rose.
Rose's last outing in his first of the season was against these same Seattle Mariners. He only lasted 2 innings in that ball game, allowing 6 hits and 6 earned runs. He walked 1, struck out 1. Couple of home runs, 1 to Griffey, 1 to Glenn Allen Hill. And of course the Red Sox lost that game 12-6. A couple of difficult assignments, obviously opening up against Seattle and then facing them again here in the home opener of Fenway.
Well, Brian Rose obviously hoping for better things than he had in his first 2 major league starts. The one out in Seattle earlier this season, and then of course the one against the Angels here in July last summer. A look at the Red Sox defense brought to you by Toyota. As we set it up for you for the home opener, Red Sox have struggled a little bit defensively here in the early going, making 9 errors in their first 8 ball games. It'll be Bragg, Buford, and Lewis left to right in the outfield. Bragg in there for Troy O'Leary. John Valentin at third, Nomar Garciaparra at second, Mark Lemke making his Red Sox debut at second, Mo Vaughn at first, Jason Varitek behind the plate, and the rookie Brian Rose on the mound. By the way, even though Troy O'Leary is not in the starting lineup, he is here, and there's another baby to announce in the Red Sox family. As you look at today's umpires, Tim Cheetah working behind the plate, John Shulock at first, Don Denkinger at second, and Rick Reed over at third. Troy and his wife Annette O'Leary, the baby boy, I beg your pardon, Trey. Brian Rose's first pitch at Fenway Park this season is a called strike to Joey Cora. Tough to keep up with all the social news on this Red Sox team. First the Wasdens, now the O'Learys. Fouled away out of play, 0-2 to Cora.
Well, we saw it. Another young pitcher, Derek Lowe, struggle in his first outing against the Seattle Mariners, but last time out was much more relaxed and had a terrific game against the Anaheim Angels. We'll see today if Rose is a little bit more relaxed than in that first outing against Seattle.
Joey Cora in a hole 0-2 against Rose to lead it off. Sprays it toward left field. Bragg has got it tracked, and there's the first out.
Seattle Mariners actually playing their first game outside this season. They have been at the Kingdome for that first homestand, and they're playing their very first ball game in these cool conditions this afternoon at Fenway.
Yeah, this starts a 10-game road trip for the Mariners, for Lou Piniella and his club. They'll play 3 here in Fenway, then 3 at Jacobs Field in Cleveland, and they'll wrap up this trip with 4 games in Minnesota against the Twins. And likewise, this starts a 10-game homestand for the Red Sox here at Fenway Park. First pitch to Alex Rodriguez is a little bit low for a ball. Right in for a strike, 1-1 on Alex Rodriguez. And Rose works a little bit low and away, 2-1. Brian Rose, by the way, at 22 years old, becomes the first rookie to pitch a home opener at Fenway Park for the Red Sox since Jim Bagby Jr. in 1938. Goes to 3-1 on Rodriguez, and Rose is the first native New Englander ever to pitch the home opener at Fenway.
Because both newspapers this morning loaded with stories on Brian Rose and his hometown of South Dartmouth.
Rodriguez lifts it toward right, and Damon Buford. The wind pushing it a little bit. The wind has changed directions a couple of times here prior to the start of today's ball game. Earlier, a couple of hours ago, it was blowing almost straight in. And now it's blowing a little bit more from left over toward right, where Damon Buford made that play.
Yeah, the ball should take off pretty good out toward right field this afternoon, but it's going to take a pretty good shot in left field and also in center. And you can see that new background right there. That's the good hitter's background. They've covered the seats in center field for a long time. Very dangerous here at Fenway Park, but they've made that adjustment now for day games.
Make it Darren Lewis in right field, not Buford. Buford's over in center today. Red Sox have made several changes in the outfield alignment here early in the season so far. Ken Griffey Jr. now with 2 outs and nobody on. Rose had a very solid first inning at the Kingdome in his last start, and he had a very solid first inning here last July against the Angels. It was the second inning on that caused him problems. Only worked 3 innings in that game last summer, his first major league start, and then just 2 innings in Seattle last week. Griffey takes. Close pitch. 3-0 the count on Griffey.
Well, I guess Cheetah figures if Griffey doesn't swing at the pitch, it's going to be a ball.
And ball 4. So Griffey walks on 4 pitches, and he is the first Seattle base runner. The Mariners are first in the American League in walks coming into today. That is their 40th walk of the season in just their 9th game. They're also first in home runs, by the way, by a wide margin. The Mariners have hit 20 home runs in their first 8 ball games. Here's Edgar Martinez. Edgar off to a slow start to his 1998 season, as you can see from those numbers. He was the DH of the year last year. The 0-1 is outside. 1-1 now to Martinez.
Last weekend in Seattle, it was unusual to see Martinez struggling here at the beginning of the season. It won't take him long to get going, and once he does, he'll probably be the DH of the year again.
Griffey with the lead off first, and Martinez goes toward right center field. The long run, and a terrific catch by Damon Buford. That ends the first. That's what happens when you're going badly, right? Edgar Martinez just can't buy a hit. Terrific play by Damon Buford brings the crowd to its feet in the first inning. Red Sox coming up at Fenway on the home opener. Seattle, no score in the top half on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Damon Buford bringing this Fenway crowd to his feet with a spectacular catch in center field. This ball slicing away from him, plus getting pushed by the wind. He'll make the diving catch, and somehow, when he hits the ground, he's able to keep that ball in his glove. Terrific play. The outfield defense for the Red Sox so far this season has been excellent.
Yeah, the errors have come from the infield primarily. Let's check the Red Sox starting lineup now for this afternoon's home opener. Nomar Garciaparra at short. John Valentin batting second, playing third base. First baseman is Mo Vaughn. Jim Leyritz, the DH. Jason Varitek catching. Damon Buford with that great catch in center. Mark Lemke at second, making his Red Sox debut. Darren Bragg in left, and Darren Lewis over in right field. And Randy Johnson on the mound for the Mariners. Going low and away to Nomar Garciaparra.
Couple of starts so far for Randy Johnson. A no decision against Cleveland on opening night, and last week the Red Sox beat him at the Kingdome. High numbers, especially the hits and runs against Johnson, but he also still has those high strikeout numbers.
First time in 5 years, Jerry, that Randy Johnson has given up 5 or more runs in back-to-back starts. In for a strike, 2-1 to Garciaparra.
It's going to be interesting, Doug, to see how Johnson works against the Red Sox today. He got beat at that game in the Kingdome by the breaking ball. Every run that scored for the Red Sox on a hit was on a breaking ball.
Brings the fastball in for strike 2. And a swing at a bad pitch way outside, and Garciaparra strikes himself out.
Well, that pitch was actually supposed to go inside where Wilson was set up, but the ball just sailed away, and Garciaparra can't lay off it.
Checking the defense now. Well, that's the Red Sox defense. The Mariners are now out in the field, and there they are. Glenn Allen Hill, Ken Griffey Jr., Robert Perez left to right. Russ Davis at third, Alex Rodriguez at short, Joey Cora at second, and David Segui at first. Dan Wilson behind the plate, and Johnson on the mound, now working to John Valentin for a called strike. After the game in Seattle last week, Jerry, a lot of the writers were asking all the Red Sox hitters if Johnson had lost anything. Of course, he had 2 bad starts in a row. Most of the guys saying, no, he can still throw it pretty well.
Even if you did think that he had lost something, you wouldn't say it because you know you're going to face him again in a week.
That's right. 56 degrees at game time here at Fenway. Valentin fouls it away. 0-2 to John. 56 degrees on April 10th. With bright sunshine is about as much as you could ask for.
Actually, walking around on the field prior to the game was very comfortable on the playing field.
Johnson to work 0-2 to John Valentin. To left field and pretty deep. Hill back to the wall, and it is about halfway up off the wall. And John Valentin will start his Fenway season with a stand-up double.
Well, you might remember a year ago, Valentin had a couple of home runs off Randy Johnson here at Fenway in that opening day ball game, and this ball might have been close to a home run had the wind not been going across from left to right. Valentin, the last 2 games, is really starting to swing the bat. He swung it very well that last game in Anaheim, and now starts off with a double here today.
And now many in this big crowd at Fenway Park coming to their feet to salute Mo Vaughn for his first at-bat of the season. In front of the home crowd. Takes inside.
Well, Doug, it was a mixed bag when they introduced the lineups, but that certainly was a standing ovation for Vaughn.
What a great start he has had, following up on his terrific spring. 364 in the first 8 games of the regular season. Valentin at second with 1 out in the bottom of the first. And up a little bit again, 2-0 to Vaughn.
Mo Vaughn is the best hitter in the Red Sox lineup today against Randy Johnson. A .381 average against Randy with a couple of home runs. He loves the challenge, and Coach Johnson loves the challenge of throwing a Mo.
Swing and a miss. 2-1 now on Vaughn.
Nothing fancy about this. Old number 1 from Randy Johnson. Power against power.
Somewhere in the mid-90s. He's up around 97, 98 last week in Seattle. And 2-2 now. Same pitch, a little bit more out over the plate that time, it appeared.
Yeah, I noticed so far not a breaking ball yet from Johnson.
Only 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup today for the Red Sox. Darren Bragg the other. Inside, and did it hit the shirt? Yes, it did. Mo trying to jackknife out of the way, and it grazed the uniform, so Johnson comes in a little bit too much on Vaughn, and 2 runners on now with 1 out.
Now, this has been very popular so far this season, just getting a piece of the uniform. Tough to tell on that replay whether it did or did not get some of Mo Vaughn.
Well, I guess that's somehow the cosmic payback for what happened in Anaheim the other night, right?
Tim Salmon, that's right. He talked the umpire right into it.
First and second with one out, and Jim Leyritz, the designated hitter, swings through a fastball.
Now here's where the Red Sox have to start getting some production. They're going to face 3 left-handers over the weekend against Seattle, and after the top 3 guys in the lineup, the rest of the group has struggled.
Nothing in 2 to Leyritz, shaking his head. Well, it's been widely reported, especially because of the day off and getting ready for the home opener, Jerry, the Red Sox hitting just .233 as a team through their first 8 games. But if you take Vaughn and Garciaparra out of the mix, the team hitting just .204. And 3 swings for Jim Leyritz, and he'll head back to the dugout.
See Leyritz shaking his head after that last swing. Totally overmatched in that at bat by Randy Johnson. Kind of a half-hearted swing right here on the high fastball. It's like we're talking about that center field being covered up now for the hitter's background. It was always the most difficult in day games, and especially with a left-hander pitching. It looks like Leyritz might have had trouble seeing the ball. He's going to try sunglasses.
Well, the other big change here at Fenway for this season that you can see from this angle particularly is the different color of the skin part of the infield. That's because it's a brand new infield here at Fenway Park.
This is the first time since 1976 they've put in a new infield, and Joe Mooney, Casey Urban doing a great job getting this thing ready for opening day.
The park looks terrific. Of course, everybody remembers last year the April Fool's blizzard we had and how tough it was to get the field to recover from that. Really for quite some time, but the field looks terrific today. A called strike to Jason Varitek, 1-1. Varitek, of course, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against Johnson, and watches high and outside, 2-1.
Last start that Varitek made had 4 strikeouts against Chuck Finley and the Angels.
And this is his very first at bat against Randy Johnson. And patient. Again missing by just a little, and it's 3-1 now to Varitek. Damon Buford waiting on deck. Swinging through the fastball upstairs, 3-2. Make it 1 for 3 for Varitek. Against Randy Johnson. And the 3-2 is a swinging strike 3. So Johnson gives up the double to Valentin, hits Mo Vaughn, but strikes out the side in the first. No score after 1 here at Fenway Park. Mariners and Sox on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. No score at Fenway Park, heading to the top of the second, and this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Boston Red Sox and WABU TV Channel 68. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox and WABU TV. Doug Brown along with Jerry Remy. Our producer today is Tom Tedisco. John Wilson directing Red Sox baseball for the opener today. And moving to the top of the second, David Segui leading off for the Mariners. And here's a guy who's off to a tremendous start.
They've added 2 players in this lineup that have both off the great start. Segui and the next hitter, Glenn Allen Hill.
Takes a ball from Brian Rose. There's Glenn Allen Hill waiting his first chance. Segui has hit in every game for the Mariners to start the season, an 8-game hitting streak. Takes a breaking pitch, 1-1.
Rose is limping right now. I don't know if he twisted an ankle making that last pitch. Look, he turned the ankle over in his follow-through.
Got the called strike, and now a whole team of folks out of the Red Sox dugout to check on the young right-hander.
You know, sometime the landing areas for pitches obviously are different, and Randy Johnson's would be different than Brian Rose. And it looked like after Rose landed, after making that last pitch, he just turned the ankle over.
That seems to be what they're talking about too, Jerry, is that landing area. Of course, Johnson at 6'10" would have that big stride coming off the rubber. Rose is going to take a few warm-ups. The count is 1-1 to David Segui. And Rose throws one pitch and says, "I'm okay." Let's look at it again.
Watch that front leg, front foot as it lands, and looks like he just turns it right over. And you can see him just buckle.
Segui taking, now 2-1. We showed you that Segui has 4 home runs already. He actually would have had a 5th one on Wednesday night against the Yankees, but a long drive toward right center field hit off one of the speakers, wound up bouncing in short center field, and he got a triple out of it.
One thing Joe Kerrigan and Jimmy Williams will watch closely now is Rose changing his pitching style, his mechanics, because of the injury, and they have to be very careful with that.
The 3-1 to Segui, fouled away.
If that happens, sometimes that puts more strain on the arm, and you end up with an arm injury also.
Rose allowed just the 2-out walk in the first inning. Pitching to the first batter here in the second. And the 3-2 pitch strikes out Segui. First strikeout of the afternoon for Brian Rose.
Well, Rose had 1 strikeout in that last game against Seattle. Picks up his first this afternoon. This pitch tailing away. Fastball tailing away from Segui. And I think Segui feels like he may have got himself out in that at bat.
Something to just get David Segui out here in the '98 season. Glenn Allen Hill takes a first pitch strike. Hill not too shabby either, as Jerry mentioned, 444. He had a 7-game hitting streak end on Wednesday, the Mariners' last game. Quickly 0-2 on Hill with the breaking pitch.
Well, just like Derek Lowe in the last game, Rose seems to be much more relaxed and making better pitches here early in the game than he did a week ago.
The 0-2. Wasting one in the dirt. Glenn Allen Hill, who came over from San Francisco last year. Hit a home run against Rose last weekend in Seattle. Tapped on the ground toward Mark Lemke, who gets his first chance, and the second out.
The Red Sox are going to have to do a better job pitching to Hill this weekend. Last weekend they left a lot of pitches inside, which is exactly where he likes it. That pitch by Rose away, and the ground ball of Mark Lemke making his Red Sox debut. Kind of hectic for Lemke, you know, coming up from Fort Myers, training pretty much by himself down there, introducing himself to all his new teammates today. Of course, he's knows his manager pretty well from the days in Atlanta.
Well, the Red Sox had gone with Donnie Sadler and Mike Benjamin at second base for the first 8 games, but they weren't getting an awful lot of offense out of the second base position. Jimmy Williams had said prior to the start of the season, Jerry, that he wasn't too much worried about that, but when you go through a series that the Red Sox just have where they only scored 3 runs in 3 games, you hope to get a little extra offensive production from wherever you can get it. The called strike to Dan Wilson, the Mariners catcher. 1-1 now the count to Dan. 1-2.
Certainly be helpful to Rose to be able to get through the first 2-3 innings of scoreless baseball, get his confidence level back up high. I'm sure it was knocked down a little bit last week in that rough outing against the Mariners.
Well, Brian Rose spent a lot of time looking at tapes of that start last weekend with pitching coach Joe Kerrigan, and right over the heart of the plate for called strike 3. We'll expand on that story a little bit later. 1-2-3 inning for Rose, including 2 strikeouts. No score after 1.5 at Fenway. And we'll be back after these words from your local sponsors on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. No score at Fenway Park after an inning and a half. Red Sox about to take their swings in the bottom half of the second, and League Leaders is brought to you by Mazda. Experience cars and trucks built with a passion for the road. Mazda. Talked about the Seattle Mariners home run production this year. They're picking right up where they left off last year, Jerry, leading the major leagues with a record 264 home runs, 25 better than the next closest team, the Colorado Rockies. Of course, the Mariners have hit 20 home runs in 8 games this season. If they keep that up all year, that'll be more than 400 for the year. First pitch to Damon Buford is down low from Randy Johnson. On the ground, but foul. A nice play down there to start the season. Cold.
Yeah, gentleman named Staff. I guess he has Staff written on his back. So made a fine play.
They get a lot of those jobs. Always good to get that first one out of the way, right? Breaking pitch outside to Buford, 1-1.
Now, we talked last inning, Doug, about how Randy Johnson got beat on his breaking ball when he had men in scoring position in that first inning. Nothing but fastballs.
And that one fouled away. 2-2 now on Damon Buford. And a called third strike. Make it 4 strikeouts now for Randy Johnson.
Now there's the breaking ball. Pitch by Johnson, down and in against those right-handers. Last week, everything seemed to stay out over the plate. Didn't have many like that. So if he has both pitches working for him this afternoon, that's trouble for Boston.
And Buford appeared fooled. Looked like he was expecting the number 1. Mark Lemke. His first at-bat for the Red Sox. Here's how he fared last year for the Braves before the injury that knocked him out. No swing. 2-0 the count on Lemke. Chopping one foul.
I think we're making a mistake if we say that Lemke is here to provide offense for the Red Sox. That's not the case. When Jeff Fry went down, they wanted somebody at second base that could feel that position solidly throughout the season. That's why they went to get Lemke. He's also the kind of guy in a lineup that'll stick the base hit in, keep an inning alive.
2-2 now on Mark.
But he's primarily a defensive second baseman.
Randy Johnson working 2-2. A little bit low this time. Full count on Lemke.
Now the hitters have to deal with a little bit of a shadow problem. Shadow's out in front of home plate. Not a serious problem yet.
Up in the air in the infield. Second baseman Joey Cora makes the play for the second out. They're talking about the offense from the second base position, Jerry. Donnie Sadler, of course, will now get a chance to work on his game both offensively and defensively down at Pawtucket with Lemke joining the Red Sox here. Sadler probably pressing a little bit offensively too. Again, no particular need for him to worry about the offense, but you know he's got to be at least thinking about that first major league hit, and he doesn't have it yet.
Well, he's got to go down to AAA and really get some confidence in his offense. You know, last year he hit about 212, struggled early this season. You can't make a judgment on a guy after maybe 10 or 15 at bats. That would be unfair.
Right.
But the fact is he needs to go have success at the AAA level.
Darren Bragg quickly down 0-2. just missing. Darren Bragg playing left field today. And strike 3. Randy Johnson has 5 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. The Red Sox go quickly in order, and after 2 at Fenway Park, no score between the Red Sox and the Mariners on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
No score, Mariners Red Sox. Randy Johnson striking out Darren Bragg and staring down Bragg after the strikeout. The story behind that is he's kind of kidding around because Bragg hit a home run off him. He's 1 for 1 in his career with a home run. And of course, those guys ex-teammates. And of course, that home run came when Randy Johnson had a bad back, and shortly after that he went on a disabled list. So he's kind of having a little fun with Darren Bragg. I don't think Bragg found it funny though after the strikeout.
I don't think any of the Red Sox are finding these first 2 innings funny, Jerry. 5 strikeouts for Johnson already. On the ground sharply, Valentin gets a piece of it, but Russ Davis will take first. We'll see how they score it. Could go either way. Ball was hit very sharply.
Well, I think that probably will go as a base hit for Russ Davis. He's also had a great start. Hard ground ball to the backhand side of Valentin. Ball knocked down, but was far enough away from Valentin with his no play on Davis. That would be a tough error if he gets an error.
No decision yet from the official scorer.
Base hit.
First hit of the day for the Mariners. And batting 9th in the order, Robert Perez, the right fielder, and he pops up a bunt, and there's going to be an easy double play at first base as Varitek fires to Lemke covering. So the strategy backfires there for the M's.
Well, nice play by Varitek, quickly out from behind the plate. A lot of times that's a tough thing for a catcher to judge exactly where that bunt will go. Varitek able to make the play in the air, and then it's an easy double play at first base as Davis was heading towards second. Varitek's done a very nice job defensively behind the plate.
Nothing Russ Davis could do except keep his head down and go back to the dugout. Not his fault, though, clearly. Play again went 2-4, doubling off Davis at first. Joey Cora takes a strike, evening the count at 1-1. Cora flied to Bragg in left to lead off the ball game. Just missing the inside slice.
Well, to this stage in the game, and certainly early, Rose is not just throwing the ball this afternoon, he's pitching.
Joey Cora comes into this ball game with an 8-game hitting streak to start the year. Slaps that one down the left field line, but foul just into the grandstand.
And what I mean by that is Rose hitting the corners. He's moving the ball in and out, where the other start at Seattle, it was just pretty much everything right down the middle of the plate. He's pitching so far in this game this afternoon.
Once through the order for Rose with just 1 hit, the infield hit, and 1 walk. Now works 2-2 to Cora and hits him. On the breaking pitch, it got away. You're going to get hit. That's as good a spot as any to get hit.
Yes, for most of us, that's where a lot of the padding is, and certainly Joey Cora taking it in a good spot. Breaking ball, nowhere to go for Cora.
The shortstop, Alex Rodriguez.
That was the retaliation, Jerry, for Randy Johnson just clipping Mo Vaughn's jersey.
I'll get him with a breaking ball.
I wondered, after watching the Mariners hit 9 home runs against the Red Sox in those 3 games out in Seattle last weekend, as Alex Rodriguez swings through a breaking ball, if when Pedro Martinez takes his turn here tomorrow, that he might have that in the back of his mind. Just to, of course, Pedro works inside anyway, but the Mariners were swinging freely against Red Sox pitching last week. Rose just missing inside, 1-1.
Well, she got the 2 strikeout leaders going in back-to-back days. Randy Johnson started today with 17 strikeouts. Pedro leads the league with 20, and they're going to go pretty much back and forth, I think, all season long.
Rose chases Cora back to the bag. Rodriguez flied to right in his first appearance. This time lifting it toward the left side and shallow left center field, where Darren Bragg gives way to Damon Buford for the 3rd out. 2.5 complete at Fenway Park. No score between the Red Sox and the Mariners on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
At Fenway on opening day. Bottom of the 3rd inning, no score, Mariners and Red Sox. The 98 Red Sox is sure to be action-packed and exciting. Bring your group, company, or family to one of the many special discounted and fundraising games at Fenway this season. Call group sales at 617-262-1915.
Darren Lewis, and then the top of the order, Nomar Garciaparra and John Valentin for the Red Sox. And Lewis lays one down, but he didn't get much on it. And Wilson, a fine defensive catcher, makes the play down to first. Not a bad idea by Lewis, but he didn't get enough of it.
Yeah, it looked like the ball just stuck right in front of home plate. Dan Wilson, an excellent defensive catcher, bounces out and has a fairly routine play to make. He'll clear himself with a base runner and throw a strike to Segui. So bunting, a little bit tough for both teams this afternoon.
Nomar Garciaparra struck out his first time. Reaches to right field this time, but snagged by the first baseman Segui. Nomar may be looking to put one down the right field line.
Well, Johnson had been pitching him away consistently, and at that time, Nomar slaps the line drive, but right at David Segui.
The 3rd baseman, John
2 pitches, 2 outs for Johnson here in the 3rd. Here's the man with the only Red Sox hit of the day to this point. John Valentin doubled about halfway up the wall over the scoreboard in the 1st. Guaranteed that he was going to take the first pitch after the 2 quick outs. And now 2-0. John Valentin accounting for the only Red Sox run Wednesday night, last game of the road trip in Anaheim, with a solo home run, his first of the year. Popped up, right field side. Segui battling the wind and stays with it. A quick 1-2-3 inning for the Red Sox against Randy Johnson, and after 3 complete at Fenway, no score on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. Back for the 4th inning here at Fenway Park. Doug Brown along with Jerry Remy. Glad to have you with us on opening day.
The center fielder,
Brian Rose and Randy Johnson hooked up in a good one here so far. Johnson with no strikeouts in that 3rd inning. First time that's happened today. But he has 5 to this point already. Brian Rose has 2, and he's ready for the 4th, and Ken Griffey Jr. to lead it off. Swinging on the first pitch down the right field side, but it'll carry well out of play. Griffey walked on 4 pitches his first time up. Griffey, with those 3 home runs this season, by the way, is 3 away from 300 for his career. Takes a little bit high. A good April hitter is Ken Griffey Jr. 13 April home runs a year ago. So a little bit behind that pace so far this year.
Now, one thing that doesn't hurt Griffey, the fact that in April they get to play a lot of games at home in the Kingdome.
Towards center field, but right there on it is Damon Buford for the routine first out.
The fans around the world can now log on to www.redsox.com, the official website of the Boston Red Sox. This easy to navigate Red Sox homepage offers fans the ease of purchasing tickets online and is your first source of breaking news, history, and information on one of the greatest sports franchises in history. Red Sox baseball, what a game.
Edgar Martinez, who was victimized by a sparkling catch in right center field by Damon Buford back in the first inning. Edgar's got to be thinking, what do I have to do to get a base hit? Hit the ball right on the button. Looked like it was working toward the gap and away from Buford, but he managed to get over there and make the catch.
I'm sure Edgar will figure it out before long.
Breaking pitch just missing a little bit low. 2-1 to Martinez.
Well, that wind really starting to gust now out toward right field.
And at the same time gusting into our booth here a little bit. Fouled away by Martinez, off to our right. There's a look at it.
Wind coming down from Canada, right?
Yes, primarily from the north, the April wind.
Well, it's better than straight in toward home plate.
And it was blowing a little more straight in toward the plate a couple hours ago. 2-2 to Martinez, right up the middle for a base hit. So Edgar was robbed last time, but this time he keeps it on the ground where Buford can't catch it. Let's pause 10 seconds right now for station identification on the 68 Sports Television Network.
Number 21.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on WABU-TV Channel 68 Boston, WNBU-TV Channel 21 Concord, New Hampshire, and WZBU-TV Channel 58 Vineyard Haven, Cape Cod.
No score at Fenway Park. Red Sox and Mariners playing the top of the fourth with one out. Doug Brown along with Jerry Remy. Sean McDonough on assignment this weekend. Sharp-eyed observers will know where.
16th hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was windy on that tower too yesterday, I'll bet. David Segui, who fanned his first time against Brian Rose today, taking a called strike to level the count at 1-1.
It looks like Rose learned a lesson by watching Saberhagen deal against the Seattle club in Seattle. Saberhagen pitched a lot of these hitters inside and then, of course, moved the ball around inside, outside, and that's the approach that Rose has taken today. He's made more inside pitches than he did in the 2 innings last time he faced him.
On the outside corner for called strike 2. Started to talk about this earlier too, Jerry, after the game and after looking at the tapes. Particularly, Brian Rose said that one thing he wanted to change today from his last outing against the Mariners is he didn't think he was throwing enough breaking pitches to right-handed hitters, and we've seen a number of those already.
Well, you saw that last pitch outside corner. When you throw inside, that should give you a little more space on that outside corner to make a pitch.
Edgar Martinez at first with one out. 2 hits for the Mariners, just 1 hit for the Red Sox to this point, as Rose and Johnson have been in command. The 1-2. Working Segui inside. Brian Rose, just 22 years old. Attended Dartmouth High School in southeastern Massachusetts. Little tapper foul. Suppose there are any informal or formal parties today down in your part of the state of Massachusetts honoring Brian Rose's Fenway opener start?
Oh, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's a large group in attendance here today to support Rose, and those that could not get tickets, I'm sure are watching the ball game. Very proud of what Rose accomplished, not only in high school there, but since he's been in professional baseball. And a great kid, so they're all hoping he does well.
Two-two is the count on Segui. Ran into a couple of people down in Fort Myers who are very quick and proud to point out that Brian is the first native of Dartmouth, as near as anybody has been able to figure out to make the major leagues. Of course, there have been others from that part of the world, including the man sitting to my right. Rose knocks it down. He'll go to second for one, and Garciaparra guns it across for the double play. 1-6-3. And after 3.5, no score at Fenway. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
The Red Sox continue their first homestand of the year, and you won't want to miss tomorrow's game as Pedro Martinez makes his Fenway debut. Tune in to On Deck beginning at 12:30, followed by Red Sox baseball. Don't miss the action over most of our 68 Sports Television Network.
And the Mariners will counter with Jamie Moyer, former Red Sox left-hander. 3 lefties working this series this weekend for the Mariners. As Johnson throws ball 1 to Mo Vaughn, leading off the bottom of the 4th. Martinez against Moyer tomorrow, and then Tim Wakefield against Jeff Fassero scheduled coming off the disabled list for the Mariners on Sunday. Johnson working in tight with the fastball. 2-0 to Vaughn. And fouled away on the hands. Mo was just grazed on the uniform by a Randy Johnson pitch back in the first inning.
The amazing thing, Doug, is that Randy Johnson will throw Mo inside to try to get him off that plate, but Mo, one of the best at keeping that front shoulder in.
And a called strike 2. Tough pitch.
Well, that's help that Randy Johnson probably does not need. And I think every hitter will tell you that. That ball appeared to be down. And instead of 3-1, now it's 2-2.
And called strike 3 right over the heart of the plate. And Mo Vaughn is the 6th strikeout victim of Randy Johnson. 2nd called.
Well, this is a different Randy Johnson than the first 2 outings of the year. And this is a Randy Johnson today that's going to use his fastball to get outs. That a perfect pitch by Johnson. The one before was questionable, but that's certainly a strike.
Jim Leyritz, who was down on 3 pitches to strike out back in the first inning. Fouls it off over the roof to the right. 1-1.
And like we mentioned, Leyritz coming to the plate this time with the sunglasses on. He appeared to be complaining about some type of glare from center field, so he's made the adjustment to the glasses. We'll see if that helps.
Well, as you can see, Johnson in sunlight and the batter's box is in shadow, which certainly is a factor too at this point.
Yeah, this is getting difficult now. Right about halfway between home plate and the pitcher's mound.
Leyritz ahead in the count, 2-1. Now even at 2-2. Randy Johnson actually hasn't won a game in his last 4 starts going back to last year. Leyritz trying the right field line, but it's foul, just short of the pole. Johnson had a loss and a no decision in the playoff series last season. And there you see it, trying to avoid duplicating that feat from 5 years ago. Ooh, and Leyritz took that one off the, was it the ankle maybe, or the foot? We'll have to wait and see. He tried to skip out of the way, but didn't make it. So that's the 2nd hit batsman for Johnson, but this one actually made contact.
Yeah, and don't mistake this as being some type of a beanball war, because it's not. Joey Cora got hit with a breaking ball, and the same thing here for Leyritz. It looks like Randy Johnson wanted to go with the slider down and in. Instead, it got that front foot of Jim Leyritz. Believe me, if you get hit by Randy Johnson, you'd rather get hit down there than something up around the head.
Appeared to be right off the top of the left foot. Leyritz trying to shake it off. Jimmy Williams out for a quick visit.
Number 47, the catcher.
Leyritz will remain in the game.
Varitek.
That'll bring up Jason Varitek with one out and Leyritz at first. Varitek had a base hit in his last at bat against Randy Johnson Sunday in Seattle. But right now he's hoping that he can get out of this strikeout rut that he's in. Takes a called strike there. 1-1 the count on Varitek.
You know, Randy Johnson, a difficult guy to put plays on against. You know, it's not the ideal situation for a hit and run play because he's a non-contact pitcher, a guy that strikes out a lot. Usually those plays are safe for the sinker ball pitchers, guys that do not strike out a lot of hitters.
Up just a little bit with the fastball to Varitek. 2-1.
The problem with that is if you just sit around and wait for things to happen, most of the time against Johnson they don't happen.
Well, the Red Sox had 2 runners on with 1 out in the first inning and were unable to even put a ball in play. Johnson fanned Leyritz and Varitek to get out of the inning. Here he falls behind Jason. 3-1. Took a long look down to Wendell Kim in that third base coach's box. The on-deck hitter is Damon Buford. Leyritz at first, and the pitch fouled away by Varitek.
See here again now on the 3-2 count. Most of the time you'll send that runner at first base, but again you have to almost rethink that when you have Randy Johnson pitching because it quickly becomes a strike him out, throw him out situation.
Three and 2 on Varitek. Leyritz with a short lead at first and fouled away. Jason will celebrate his 26th birthday tomorrow. Like to celebrate it early with something here against Johnson, but he knocks down the hopper and throws Varitek out. Let's get an update now from Butch Stearns back in our 68 Sports studio.
All right, Doug, thank you. A pitcher's duel at Fenway. No such storyline at Yankee Stadium. The A's in the top of the 5th. Dave Maganet at the plate against Mike Buddy. Singles knocks in old pal Matt Stairs, and the A's take a 13-12 lead. Then we go to the bottom of the inning. Tino Martinez comes up. He gets a 2-run double, scoring O'Neill and Bernie Williams. 14-13 Yankees. They added 2 more. It's now in the top of the 6th. 16-13 Yankees. Whoever goes for 2 is going to win this one, guys.
To say, Butch, the field goal kickers become very important at this time of the ball game. First pitch to Damon Buford is a ball.
Nice crisp little pitches duel at Yankee Stadium this afternoon.
The Red Sox, by the way, officially the last team of the 30 major league teams to play their home opener this season, is Buford homing in on us off to the right. The Yankees and Indians both playing their home openers this afternoon, but they started at 1. Red Sox starting here just after 3. Johnson works outside to Buford. 2-1 now on Damon.
The last ground ball that Varitek hit, Johnson, of course, being so tall, knocked it down. If that ball gets over his head, it's going to be a double play to end the inning. Instead, he knocked it down, and that allows a man to get into scoring position, see if the Red Sox can take advantage of that.
Buford watches closely. It's 3-1 now. This is just the second runner the Red Sox have had as far as second base in this game. The Mariners have not had any runners in scoring position against Brian Rose. It's Mark Lemke hoping to get a chance this inning. Buford fouls another one away off to the right. Buford took a called third strike back in the second inning. One of 6 Randy Johnson strikeouts. 3-2 pitch coming. Buford goes to left, hit well, up and out of here. Damon Buford, a 2-run home run against Randy Johnson, and the Red Sox have a 2-0 lead.
First home run and first 2 RBI of the season for Buford. He got the fastball from Randy Johnson and a line drive home run into the net. Buford's had a heck of a day. He had that great defensive play earlier in the ball game, saving a run, and now he puts 2 runs on the board with the home run.
The first pitch, a strike to Mark Lemke. And Buford, the man of the hour now in that Red Sox dugout. Called strike, 1-1 to Lemke.
Well, it was a small thing, Doug, with that ball that was knocked down by Johnson. Instead of going over his head, it would have been a double play. It keeps the inning alive, and Buford takes advantage of it with the home run.
But the strikeout of Lemke ends the inning. The Red Sox do get 2 on the home run by Damon Buford. A 2-0 Red Sox lead after 4 on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Randy Johnson trailing 2-0 thanks to the home run by Damon Buford in the bottom of the 4th. Well, Red Sox fans, check out the new 24-hour touch-tone ticketing by calling 617-482-4SOX. This new system's the easiest way to purchase tickets any time of day. Why not use the latest technology to purchase Red Sox tickets at one of America's oldest and most storied ballparks?
Brian Rose now working with a 2-0 lead and gets a called strike to Glenn Allen Hill leading off the top of the 5th. Hill grounded out to Lemke his first time. A little tapper toward short, the charge by Garciaparra, and the first out.
Well, because of the shadows at home plate, they put the lights on here at Fenway. Most of the light stands on, and that certainly brightened things up just a bit in that area.
By the way, the 2-run home run for Damon Buford in the bottom of the 4th reminds us to tell you that for each Red Sox home run on a TV 68 telecast this season, Dunkin' Donuts will make a contribution to the Jimmy Fund. The Red Sox hope you will help too. Dan Wilson now to face Rose, taking a pitch inside. Wilson was a strikeout victim, a called third strike in the second. Right back to Rose, and 2 down.
Now this would be big for Rose to get through this top of the 5th. His club just puts 2 points on the board, and if you can come down and shut down the offense in that inning, it has to make you feel a little better, and certainly those guys in the Red Sox dugout. They're not going to put Rose in a position today to fail. You know, they're going to wait too long if he starts to lose it to get him out of there.
Just 60 pitches to this point, as you saw. For Rose, who works now to Russ Davis, the number 8 hitter, for a called strike. Davis hit a hot smash down to John Valentin. Couldn't backhand it. Tough play. One of 2 base hits today for the Mariners off Rose. And 1-1 the count now to Davis. Don't talk to Davis about making tough plays at third, though. He had a pretty good spring defensively for the Mariners, and then in the first 4 games of the regular season at the Kingdome, Davis made 4 errors down at third base. Pops this one back our way and out of play.
Well, that's every fielder's nightmare, you know, to get off to a bad start defensively. You know, everybody has a goal, you know, where they want to be error-wise at the end of the season. When you got 4 quick ones the first week of the season, that's depressing.
1-2 the count to Davis.